Hey, good morning, guys. It's Goose here. Welcome to STN Stock Talk. Ricky and myself. Great to be back, guys. Took a couple days off. Thank you very much, Ricky, for holding down the fort.
You're welcome, buddy.
Wouldn't expect you to do anything more than amazing, and I heard that you did, so that's fantastic, man, as always. Hopefully you guys have checked us out over at stocktraders.net, guys. We're really building an incredible community over there with Monaco Trader and Titus doing screen shares. We have some proprietary scans. And listen, all you have to do is go over to the free trading floor. It doesn't cost you a dime. And just start interacting. See if you like the community. See if it fits for you guys. We're trying to add more and more every day, every month. So please, guys, come join us over there. Feel free to message us with anything that we're covering on our stock talks in the morning. We're happy to help you out. We're always, open to help out everybody. That's why we're doing this, and that's why we're doing the stock talk, is just to help people, try to give you different perspectives on things. That all being said, Ricky and I say the same thing every morning, is these are just our ideas and thoughts. Trade your own plans. It's not a solicitation of what we think you guys got to do. It's just our plans and our thoughts. Read the disclaimer. Make sure you read it in the description section. So with all that behind us, I want to jump right into it. Have Ricky go over what he's going over today. I know he's got a couple really good ones, some that I'm excited about, and I'll be back at you in a couple with a few of my own. So, Ricky?
Thanks a lot, Goose. And it is extremely amazing to have my partner, co-host, wingman back on the show with me. Now, let's jump right into things. But before we do that, guys, please share this broadcast. Spread the word. Put it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you think it can get some traction. Do that for us. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That being said, first thing I'm looking at, guys, out of quite a bit of stuff popping up right now this morning. Looks like a busy Monday. We're looking at DARE, D-A-R-E. And this one is one of those ones. It's definitely a Ricky tip. Whenever this thing gaps big, I'm drooling, trying to find locates as soon as possible. I got a ton of locates, and this should be in play today. 11.4 million OS. The float's going to be closer to 7.5. They're up on a merger deal where they're buying some pear tree or whatever, but I think what I was reading on it earlier is they're valuing it at around $75,000. It's not like a big thing. And I'm sure if you look into the details of it, I'm assuming the people that own Pear Tree are probably friends of the owners of DARE, and it's just some stupid reciprocity type deal where, it's not really going to add any value to the company. I'm not worried about this thing. I actually hope it gets legs. I would love to see 2 or higher, maybe shove into that 200-day around 233. And I mean, if you look at the daily chart, it speaks volumes. This thing, every time it gaps, it ends up going back to where it came from and some. So this shouldn't be any different. Of course, we don't get on the front side of these. You got to know how to trade them, and you got to know how to have a plan that doesn't involve adding to the front. You need to be able to spot the backside, and then we hammer it with confidence. Next thing on the list, guys, is EARS, E-A-R-S, which was a runner on Friday, and I'm actually happy that it looks like we might get a round 2 on it. I'm going to go ahead and make the daily chart a little bigger. You can see it gave back a huge amount of the move on Friday. So there's 2 ways I'm looking to play it. We're going to use the intraday levels from Friday, which already seem to have stuffed. And you can see the first lower high that it made on Friday is right around where we stuffed pre-market today. So if this thing wants to set up where the previous day's highs are going to act as the lid, I'll look for some lower highs to get short and put risk against the pre-market high and fade it throughout the day. Now, if it wants to break yesterday or Friday's highs, I'm going to let this thing get legs, because if it gets over those highs, I think it really could extend, considering there's probably a large amount of people that swung this thing short. They probably didn't expect it to PR this morning and gap up and be causing them a headache already. The OS on it's around 6 million. The float should be about 2.3 million. So this thing can move on very little. That being said, it's also a Ricky tip, and I will be looking to play it. Now, the 2 previous charts we just did, DARE and EARS, try to visually remember what their daily chart looked like, and then look at the next one we're about to talk about, FSNN. Now, I definitely am interested in it because the gap is so big, and we're running right up into the psych number 5. But as far as daily charts go, this is not the week daily chart that we look for on an easy fade on a turd. this is the chart of something that actually looks really strong. And if I wasn't already familiar with this company and knowing some of the behind the scenes shenanigans they're doing, I would definitely be looking to long this, actually, especially if it can get over 5. But if it wants to act like 5's the lid, maybe we can get a short on it. But you also have to recognize that it doesn't have a lot of meat on the bone if it wants to use this breakout area around 440s as support. So you may get about 60 cents on it if you stuff at 5. But we don't pick tops, and I'm not trying to pick bottoms either. I just want to point out, guys, that even though this thing has a large gap, it's not your typical turd daily chart, and you need to play it with caution. You can't just hammer this thing short like you would some of these other plays like Dare and Ears. And you definitely need to have your strategies that fit the criteria, right? So the parameters on FSNN are much different than Ears and Dare. Last thing I want to point out, guys, is XRAY. XRAY is an earnings beat, slight beat, but they had bad guidance, and now they're breaking down below the key levels here. You can see this shelf they've built since the last earnings. And you guys know by now the way I like these shelves to be built, 3 months or better, gives it a good look, so that when we do break below those levels, some of the longer term investors that may have been hoping this thing was going to turn around for earnings are all going to have to bail. So you can see we've lost that level. And it's also just kind of like the 50 key level, or the psych level 50, was something that they were not able to get above and stay above. So I think it could have some downside. I would prefer to get short around 49 if it could push a little into the open and then fade it from there. That's everything I've got today, guys. I know Goose has got 3 stellar picks on his plan, so I can't wait to hear what he's got. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot, man, and great job as always. And Dare, I've already gotten my borrow as well. I would love it to get up to 2. I find that such a crazy call for it to get up that high, and I might have to visit it. But one thing that Ricky's talking about is, especially I hear on Friday, while I was out, but with all these low floaters, make sure you're getting on the backside of these moves, guys. Don't get stuffed, on a Monday, trying to fight something all day and fighting it, and it ends up being an easy setup, and maybe you break even on the real trade. So just be smart about these low ones, and it's always good advice. Ricky's always commenting on that, is get on the backside of these moves. Whether it's FSNN or Dare, but I love the Dare idea, and I agree with you, and I already got a borrow on Dare. Hopefully it goes. Let me jump into SHAK. Yeah, good old SHAK. What I'm looking for on this is I like the fade setup. I apologize for my tweet this morning. I didn't have my charts. I'm running a little bit behind from all the time that I had missed. There's 2 different areas that I'm looking at for SHAK here, and one of them is I'm going to first watch it for a push into the prior close, do one of our G2C strategies. Which is going to be in this 56 area right here, as you can see. Listen, this tried so hard to get through 59 on Friday, as you could see. It came down hard, closed pretty much on, pretty weak, as you guys could see as well. So I'm hoping that it does a little bounce and push, maybe into the, if we get up to 58, I'll start. But I'm giving myself a lot of range on this because I really do love the fade on SHAK. So my starting is going to be around prior close for possible G2C. Depending on my size, I might take it off and revisit it up towards this 58 area or any type of push in the high 57s. But I definitely want to get a fade on in this thing. And I'm looking for that 52 to 53 level. I drew a quick fib on this just from a retrace, what I'd be looking for. And these would be kind of like my cover areas for my fade. So I think there's going to be a lot of meat on this one. I really like the SHAK fade, and I'm definitely going to be on this one. So let me jump over to Tyson Foods, TSN, also another one I really like on the fade side. Look, I take a couple days off, and I got 3 fades on my list. Pretty wild. What I did is I drew a fib based on the prior close as well as the low of so far pre-market. And as you can see, a push up into the 65 area or so, or 65.5, is going to be roughly a 60% retrace off pre-market lows from the prior close. So what I'm hoping for is even a little bit more aggressive push up into this area, as you can see. But I am looking for a fade on this name. And what I'd be looking for is, back on pre-market lows towards that 63. Let's see how it acts. Now, they did comment. They had a press release talking about the repurchase plan. So I'll be smart about this and looking is if I see something real obvious in this thing that is not wanting to fail or it's holding certain levels and there's not enough meat on it between where I want to get my entry is to where they keep holding it, I'll just visit something else. It is a $60 name. I want to make sure there's enough meat on the bone on this. But I am looking for this as a fade. We'll see how it goes. And I would love to get it up in that, prior close area, but I'm not sure it's going to get up that high. So my first area of looking is around 65.50 area, which is pretty close to that. So right at the open, maybe I'll start to put a little starter on. Lastly, I just want to talk about Wing, WING. And it's another one too, Wingstop, that I did a little fib here just to show you from the what a retrace would be and where I'd look. It closed pretty weak considering where it went. It had the big push up, kind of failed, stayed under VWAP towards the latter half of the day. And what I was looking at is a couple things. First of all, push up on this 54. I'm looking 54 and 55 are my levels. So anywhere in between there is where I'm going to start for my fade. We'll have to see how it opens, see if it wants to do a little push at the open. That's what I'm hoping for. But I might start for as low as 54, and I'd be looking for a fade back into this 52 area. So there's definitely meat on the bone on this one as well. I think all three of these are really great setups for a fade, but I'll let them set up. And obviously, you know that I'm also going to be watching Dare at the open. I also, we talked about pre-market early on this morning, PTLA. I think there's a really good trade on both sides of this as well. I'm going to wait to see how this one goes and see how it wants to open up. A PTLA is high on my watch, and I think this is going to be one that you could potentially trade both ways. So PTLA is definitely going to be my watch for both a fade if on any type of extended push into this 200-day area, which is pretty far away, but you never know how it's going to act, as well as any type of crazy pull. So I want to see, I think there's a trade on this one as well. So I am going to look, on PTLA. I also have that up on one of my montages as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's have a super day today, guys. Stay patient. Look forward to seeing you guys all at 9:05 tomorrow, and good to be back. So back to you, Ricky. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Goose. Good to have you back. Takes a few days off and comes back and wants to short everything. I guess it's Black Monday, 7 tickers, 7 fades. Let's get it, guys. Everybody stay safe out there. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a trade. So come on over to StockTraders.net and we'll get you set up with a plan. We'll get you trading. We'll get you trading safe. Let's go out there and crush it. Peace.